You know your name, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
That's alright then.
Right, okay.
Hello, this is Piggy Power. I don't know what part this is of the Project 16 valve. Probably about 20, I think. But today is all about exhaust. So this is what Alex is here, our weld king. I've referred to him a few times from Black Smoke Performance. And it's very cold today, as you can probably see. So I don't know how that relates really. But lots of shiny stainless will be happening. So I've mentioned we're doing 3-inch pipe, which is exciting because that's nice and loud. It might be a little bit overkill, but we are future-proofing, as I have done with a few other things like the rods. Plus it's 3 inches, bigger better, right?
Correct.
Cool. So he can weld, and as you've seen from my other stuff, I can't weld. So this is Alex.
I've given him a guarantee, well, no guarantee. But if it leaks, it's not my fault, it's his fault. So, but we're not going to make it leak. We're going to make it work.
I might learn a bit today, which would be quite cool. Because as I have said, I am honest to say I can't weld literally nothing. So, and it will be my first time welding stainless properly. If you saw the racetrack to build, I did also build the manifold on that. Some serious fails happened there where I went and used Mickey Kellett's welder, very cool welder, but I didn't turn the gas on, so it didn't go so well, that one. We will remember the gas today.
Yes, even though we have had a slight fail with the gas.
Some mega fails, so we were going to start that at 9 o'clock probably this morning. I think it's about 11 now, and it is winter, so we have a very small amount of time here in Britain, plus it's freezing. So we'll get on. The first thing we'll do is just dump pipe, but most of this episode is going to be very short clips. We'll put some music over it, and probably some time lapses. Because we need to get on, we need to build an exhaust, and hopefully we'll get on to maybe putting some boost piping on it as well, which would be good because he can weld.
And it's going to get started.
It's not going to get started.
It will.
It's not going to get started. On. Is that recording?
Yes. Okay. So just roughing in the downpipe, sort of got a few little bends sorted out, it's all tacked together. Just this is going to be the one that comes off the turbo flange. Had to section 90 down quite far just to be able to get the room. It's quite tight down there, but 306 engine bay pretty small. So yeah, going to get this offered up, tacked up, and then we'll start the rest of the section. Winning!
It's ridiculous.
So we've got the dump pipe roughed in. I don't know if you can have a look down there, but 3 inches clears everything. It's got just a few tacks holding it. Final weld it so it can't move around, and then we'll start on the rear section.
Looks really nice. Shiny things are happy things.
That is actually like we've used a 45, but
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Do we need a 45 elsewhere?
We'll cut it out of a 90.
Good point. Or a 180.
Or a 180.
Yeah, we'd have a 180, didn't we?
I got loads.
All right, so before lunch, should I tig that all together?
We like lunch. We also like tigging.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the toughest bit, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got the manifold to consider, the aircon pipe to consider, you know, where it's going to exit. You can't just think, oh, I'll put the downpipe there. It's got to exit somewhere down there. You're not too sure of the angle. You know, it's going to move slightly. There's so many variables involved in it, but you know,
the only real way to know is just work from sort of the next point you're going to join to, and then make sure it clears everything, which that does. I think some sort of bracket, just hold it there, just to stop it moving, just that slight amount. I mean, it will heat up and expand, contract.
But
what we're basically saying is shiny things are good things.
absolutely, yeah.
don't do practice shots on Piggy Power.
So
We do you trying to take a dump pipe out.
So yeah, do you not try to take the dump power?
as opposed to a dump.
It's not actually that as easy as you think. So
It's just going to come out in one now. You
Yeah.
watch.
You've no idea how long it took us to get that in there a minute ago.
That took forever to get down there. However, we are going to be welding on a section on the bottom of that. This.
Yeah.
That could be
V-band.
an issue, so the V-band might not go. We were going to put a V-band there.
But we think it's just too close to the actual
Might have to go
chassis.
there. We'll have a look once we've welded this up
That's quite
and have a pasty.
tricky to get out as it is, or get in.
Because my suggestion, the two V-bands we've got, is one about here,
Yeah.
and then one once it just gets just about under the car at the 45.
Yeah.
So there's a removable section, because the rest can be just one piece.
It's okay. You've got to have a joint somewhere in exhaust, but because obviously we have on my 307, we talked about this, through messages. I cannot get 3-inch pipe over my rear beam because yours goes under the rear beam. You could just make it one V-band there and just literally have it dropped off the hangers, and it'd be so easy.
I don't think it would with that 45 section though.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about
We'd
that.
have to look at that, but we're not at that stage. We're on dump pipes.
We're on pasty stage, so let's weld. It's voice activated gas solenoid.
Yes. So turn it on. So do it in stages. So we'll weld one section first, then another section, and then because it will move around very slightly, you can hinge in certain places. We'll then just get a few stitches on it, as we call it, put it back on the car, just double check it hasn't moved too much, and then we'll go for final welding it. We like to weld the section up totally before we start making on the others, because it can move, you can get things wrong, and it's best just to double check it when it's fixed as much as it possibly could be, and then final weld it to make sure it's gas tight. So
You make a census.
so we can go kind of put it in there now a bit, and then we can kind of just get those bits in position, that bit around there, and then make sure it's just not going to go anywhere. Quick offer up.
Weldy, diggy diggy. Explain why that bit in the middle doesn't look the same stainless
Because
for our viewers.
so you've got, this is like kind of polished 304, and this is a
Brushed.
brush
So
316.
if I went and got some nice like auto glim, I could make that a middle bit shiny.
Yeah, so
That'll be happening.
Don't polish this. This seems to be quite polished, but it's quite clean, so it welds very nicely. But so you've got 304, which is sort of just like a dull finish, polished, probably a bit more expensive. You could buy these that weren't polished. And then this is just the sort of finish you get, because it's a 316, which is a marine grade stainless. 304 is like your kind of exhaust sort of stainless. It is still food grade, so not non-corrosive, and you can eat off it.
So I could cook stuff. I could cook my bacon on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's happening.
The one thing that I have learned.
2,000 subscribers, we're cooking bacon on my exhaust.
Yeah. The one thing people seem to sort of buy is 409 stainless, which is
Rubbish.
it is rubbish. Yeah, it's not very good. If you try and weld 304,
It's cheap.
It is. Don't
And
buy
rubbish.
it. Don't buy it.
By me.
So our flange is 304 and our pipe is 304. This is 316, which is alright to weld to 308, 304, sorry, which is that. I just use 308, 308 wire. Never had a problem before.
Before I get too boring, why is it 308 and 316?
308 is just the sort of typical rod you weld it with.
Why 308?
308 is just the rod.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
It's just the composition. I suppose it's a code.
Do we actually know?
It's probably. I don't actually have a clue really,
fine,
but it's just the
Because
composition.
like we got 4 something else you mentioned, and 316 and 308 and
Yeah.
Is there 257 or something as well?
I believe 409 stainless is no nickel, just straight chromium, which is, and there's also a way to tell, and that's magnet. So this is my TIG torch holder, and it's not magnetic, and a lot of people kind of think, oh, it's a stainless steel exhaust that I've bought, spent £1,000 on from one of the top companies, and then you kind of
Long life.
And yeah, long life, and then you kind of put your magnet against the flange and it's mild steel, and then when it's really cheap and you put it on and it gets really hot and then it just goes like that, and then you have to reach meter.
We don't like a puff. Why have we welded it to that plate when it needs to go on my turbo?
Because when you're trying to weld like 1.6mm thick stainless steel to 10mm thick stainless steel, requires a lot of heat and to actually melt the 10mm steel. So we tack it down to something thick so it won't warp it. It probably wouldn't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but depending on what position it's in, you just don't want it to be sort of pulling the bolt holes up very slightly.
No.
And then
We
the gasket doesn't seal.
Fair enough.
It's a nice flat surface on the turbo, so we're going to keep trying to keep this piece of flange as thick as flat as possible. Got it on some nice thick 10mm steel. This actually acts as a heat sink as well, so it'll pull some of the heat out of it.
It's actually 15 mil, so it's massive.
It's 10mm, 10mm thick steel,
okay,
but we do that just because it, well, just thinner stuff isn't really as good, I don't think. Get a lot of penetration into that steel, and it's
Okay, weld
Just the way
shiny
we do
stuff. More welding, more shiny stuff.
I did catch the bolt hole there. But
Yummy, yummy.
no other way I could do it, I'm afraid.
What you doing on there, like?
Is that recording?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So we're just fitting the V-band. We're thinking about putting a V-band in now, or this 45 degree, or the flexi somewhere, wherever it is. So just kind of offering up, see if we can actually have the room to do it. I think we're going to have a flexi and have the V-band around here because you've got a lot more space in the tunnel. Whereas up there, we're quite close, and you've also got to think of that and getting a spanner in there and things. So I think we're going to put flexi in next.
That's good.
Although that's too close, really. I think that would rattle too much. So
Let me have a look. Yes, the most epic shot of all the welding so far is the sawing. What are we doing now?
So we've done, for completely welded up the dump pipe, we just added the V-band clamp so we can get it off. It's actually quite tricky to get it off the car because of the space with the V-band on, but we can do it. One thing I have struggled with in the past, and quite a few other people I know weld these, they have a sealing lip which is machined into the flange. So there's like a male part and a female part, so they kind of seal together, as you see in there. So the male part, sometimes these can warp very slightly when you weld them. So obviously they're not a tight fit, so there's like a little bit of a few millimeters play in them, and sometimes that can sort of weld metal will shrink when it cools down. And sometimes those sealing lips do not go, the male part will not go into the female part, which in any case is unfortunate. So if you weld them together, when they heat up and cool down, they will sort of stay together, and they will sort of still mate together. So what we'll do is we'll put them together, tighten the bolt on them, and weld them. Let them cool down completely, just like that.
Yummy, yummy.
Just like that, and then weld all the way around them. As soon as they've cooled down and they've obviously done, they're done shrinking, then we can take them apart. And theoretically, I've never doing it this way. I've never had a problem before. They should go back together.
Can you now move out the way of the shiny dump pipe?
Yes, I can.
Which is now complete, other than the flange.
Yes, and if some of you may notice, we've got a nut on here, and the reason for that is we could add like a bracket and a plate out of stainless steel, but that causes a problem for us, particularly because we've got no space. So what we'll do is weld a nut on there, save us having to drill and tap a plate, and then you can just put a separate bracket which you can take off, which will then bolt to that, and that will support the weight of the dump pipe, so it's not pulling down too hard on the turbo. So just an M8 stainless nut, and have a mild steel bracket painted, and
Winning.
it'll come off.
Because otherwise, the first support on the 306 is like 6 foot behind all this.
Yep.
So you've got everything hanging off your exhaust, your turbo basically, which is obviously a
Bit of an
great
issue.
idea.
Yeah.
So even though there's a flexi let things move, this is a better way forward.
Yeah.
We've done the long straight here, so we've got a flexi underneath the car. We did this because we needed to put the straight in place to then really know the angle and position we have to put the last part of the dump pipe, tunnel pipe. So anyway, let's go on with some more welding. I need to bolt these together and get on.
That's it.
I think we need a new brew as well, it's getting freezing in here. So this is the Weld King. His title is the Weld King. I think we found it to be his nickname Tiggy today, which is quite cool. Because we have Tiggy, we have Ziggy, and I am Piggy. If you ever have him welding, you need to make sure you supply him with plentiful amounts of tea,
Correct.
1 sugar,
Yes.
Snicker bars, and more importantly, Vaseline. Right, so this is the point we're at. Dump pipe, V-flange, flexi thingy, straight pipe. As you've noticed so far, there's no silencers. That's probably the way it's going to stay, because it would literally almost double the cost of the build so far. So if we find it's a bit noisy, we'll stick one on the end at some point, but that's an easy job. We can do that, cut and sleeve it basically.
Yeah. So stainless steel silencers are quite expensive, but
Well, you can get cheap ones, but might as well
Sometime.
not have one or get a decent one.
see if you can live with it loud, and
Yeah.
if not, then live with it.
So we're just, oh, it's nice and warm. Just letting that cool down so that you don't get a warping as the flanges come apart, as we just discussed. And then we'll get that on. Now, to get the downpipe, well, we're just talking about that, so you can get a light on that for us, Alex. What we have to do is, we have to just knock out those matrix pipes, take out the vacuum pipe, and disconnect 2 of the rods so that the main gear linkage could pop off its ball. Yeah, and get the downpipe in. It just fits, but that's okay because it fits, so that's fine. So once we've done what we've done, we can fit the downpipe permanently, pretty much. I can do the little bracket another time. We'll get the gear linkages back on, make sure that clears. Because actually we haven't tested the clearance underneath with the gear linkages on. That could be a fail. And then we'll do the last little bit, which is 245s.
Bit of straight.
Simple as. And then dinner. And then boost pipes. Do you just love it when a mate's posing for a picture and you're taking a video?
Yeah, don't leave me hanging.
So I'm just going to video now how quite tricky it is getting this, which as you can see is not very easy, down there.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. This is
Last time, and you've put your labour of love into it. He'll do it in one. You watch. Oh, it's close. Oh! She's in.
great success.
So what's after Project Kev?
last weld occurring, ladies and gentlemen. Bar the hangers, the last weld.
It's a monster, isn't it? Well, that was some work, but yeah, we got it done.
Your face says it all.
Yeah, tiredness.
No, it's covered in muck.
Ah, fair enough.
So that's as far as we've got today. The epic exhaust is effectively done. You'll notice the lack of hangers, so we're going to come back to that another day. It's pointless trying to fight on with the hangers, which could just make it all rubbish. And we also, hopefully with his skills, might make something out with this intake. So, bye everyone.
Thanks for that. Well, you're going to say I'm Piggy and I'm Alex, and today we're going to make an exhaust for the 16 valve.
Well, you're really like scripted, aren't you?
Yeah.
You like scripts, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Have you not seen any of my videos?
No, I have to kind of think about it first.
Okay.
Right. That wasn't too boring, was it?
I don't know. They'll tell us. That's not on properly. These amateurs.
Yeah. I could go if you want.
Yeah, just leave all your kit and go.
Yeah.